So what's going on, guys? DIY Dan here again, and today I'm just building some Christmas decorations using some leftover material from when I put the siding on my enclosed trailer. The chances of you having aluminum siding is pretty slim, but you might have some extra plywood or paneling that you're not really doing anything with that might work the same way. All that's needed after that is a little white paint. I'm also going to show you how I made the stakes for that and some of these hooks to hook over a brick wall very easily. So let's get to it. So I had some of this siding that was 12 inches wide, which isn't really good for anything else. So I just took a dry erase marker and drew some mountain patterns on it. Then I took my drill with a 3/8 bit and drilled holes at all the sharp points. Then I used my jigsaw with a multi-purpose blade to make the cut. I did have to switch from side to side quite a bit to make this cut. I did have to trim off a little bit of the material off of the one side because the mountains were so high to even them up with the other side. After trimming down the sides so they all matched up with each other, I took my grinder with a flapper wheel on it and just cleaned up all the sharp edges left from the drill bit and the jigsaw. Then I flipped it over and went over all the edges where the jigsaw cut, again just to make sure there was no sharp edges to catch my finger on. Once finishing that, I took the protective coating off that was on the aluminum. So I had some material left over from a project I didn't do. It's 1/2 inch wide, thin wall, flat bar, and it's been coming in handy for all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and use it to build me some stakes to hold these mountains in place. And I've been using a pair of bolt cutters to kind of pinch it, and then I just snap it off, and it makes short work of cutting it. Then I took my grinder with a flapper wheel on it and ground the one side to a point for the stake. Then placed it in my vise and bent it to a 90-degree angle. Make sure you use a hammer to assist in doing that bend. If you just do it by hand, you're gonna end up with more rounded of a curve. Then I turned the stake around in the vise and clamped it down so I could put a nice sharp bend on that 90-degree. So I built these after I had already set up my Christmas lights. Next year, I think I'm gonna put some white LEDs in front of them instead of my multicolored that I already had ran around my property. I had also thought about drilling holes directly in the aluminum so I could put some LED lights through the mountains. However, I don't think it's gonna be necessary because these just aren't that big. So I think they're gonna show up a lot better once I put some nice white, bright LEDs in front of them, and I'll probably leave them on a constant instead of the flicker with my music. So for the hooks over the brick wall, it's using the same material. Right here, I'm just bending a 90-degree in the vise. Now I'm marking where I need the second bend. Now the first one did take a little bit of trial and error to figure out how tight we wanted it to squeeze the brick wall. But once doing that, we used that as a reference and marked the rest of them. Then bent that to another 90-degree. Then I figured out where I want my hook to start. That one I just bent by hand around the vise because I wanted more of a curved edge instead of a sharp corner. And then we're just using the bolt cutters to do the final cut. So here's a view of all the hooks that we ended up making. We made a total of 16 of these, and it only took us probably 20 minutes to do all of them. And this material is really cheap. I got mine at a steel supplier in town, but I think you can get the same flat bar at Lowe's or Home Depot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And hope to see you next time. Have a good one. Later.